Last week, we explained how the German health insurance system works, GKV versus PKV, who qualifies, the three biggest mistakes. If you haven't seen that, the link is in the description. Today, we are doing the one thing that actually everybody wants, the real numbers. PKV versus GKV by age and by income, side by side. No theory, just maths. And stay until the end. We have a major GKV update happening right now in Germany that will affect every single person watching this. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you'd pay into both systems and which one actually saves you money over 10, 20, 30 years.
Right. And what we're using real tariffs from real providers, ones that we use every day with our clients. No made up examples, but literally fact.
Okay, so before we get into the numbers, a quick 30-second refresher from you, Matthias, if you would, on how each system calculates your cost, because this is where the confusion lies.
Of course. So basically, the GKV is a percentage of your income. The only thing that interests is how much you earn. But that's built up over several different layers. We have a base healthcare of 14.6%, which is split 7.3% you, 7.3% your employer. We have an average provider surcharge because the GKV companies are struggling to finance everything. That's 2.9% per year, so 1.45% you, 1.45% your employer. And we have a nursing care charge. The nursing care charge, again, 50-50 you and your employer. 3.4% if you have children, 4% if you don't have children. That basically adds up to the maximum that an employee can pay is 630 euros a month, and your employer will pay a further 630 euros a month. The reason why that is, we have a cap as well, out of which we pay our state health insurance amount of 69,750 euros. So it doesn't matter if I earn 69,750 or 100,000, I'm already in that maximum bracket and I'm paying 630 euros myself every month. The PKV is totally different. The PKV, the only things that interest are your entry age, so the age when you actually apply, the level of health that you have when you apply, and also the level of cover that you choose. And from those three things, they'll work out your average life costs, and that's more or less your premium. They'll put a few admin fees on top and stuff like that. But your income has nothing to do with it whatsoever.
So the GKV goes up when your salary goes up, but the PKV stays locked in to the age that you joined, correct?
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's where the age comparison comes in. So the earlier you look at this, the cheaper it'll be for the rest of your life.
Okay, so we're going to run 4 scenarios today. 4 different people, different ages and different incomes. For each one, we will show the monthly cost in GKV versus PKV tariff levels.
What we're going to look at 3 different tariff levels. We're going to look at a basic one, which is very much in line with the GKV cover. We're going to look at a mid-range one, and we're going to look at a premium one where absolutely everything, you've got the best possible cover. They're ones, as I said before, that we actually use with our clients. So it's things that we really recommend every day.
Okay, and we'll also show you the 10-year total because a monthly number alone can be misleading. So scenario 1, it's a classic case, 28 years old, employed, earning 65,000 euros gross. So they're under the threshold, so they're in GKV by default, but let's say they get a pay rise. What would PKV look like?
Okay, so basically 65,000 euros. A monthly share of the GKV would be around 490 euros a month. That's what the employee only pays. Your employer's paying the same again. If he suddenly earns over 77,400, and rather than his GKV going up so much, he insures himself with the PKV. If he's 28 years old, he's healthy, he's got no pre-existing conditions. If he chooses a basic tariff, so GKV similar, he'll pay around 330, 150 euros a month, depending on what he chooses. If he chooses a mid-range one, we're probably looking around 400, 450 euros. And a premium, a top one, 550, 600 if it's an awful lot.
So even the premium PKV is roughly around the same as the GKV, but with better cover?
Well, the cover's much, much better. And as I say, with that increase, he'd be paying 630 euros for the state, and he'd be paying 600 for a really, really top tariff in the PKV. So the basic premium is essentially locked. When you're 40 and all of a sudden the same guy has had a pay rise and he's earning 85,000 euros, as I said, he'd be paying 630 euros. With the PKV and the basic tariff, he's still paying no more than 400 euros, whatever happens. Only like the normal inflation rates and that that we all have over a 10-year period, which means basically over a 10-year period, in the basic tariff, he can save 15, 20,000. Even mid-range tariffs saves him money. And they do give him significantly better cover. Again, speed of appointments, dental, and so on.
So at 28, if you are single and healthy, PKV is a really clear decision.
For most people in this situation, the maths are fairly obvious and they definitely work in the favor of the PKV.
Okay, so scenario 2, this is a big one for freelancers, 35 years old, self employed, earning around 70,000 euros net.
This really is the big one, Sean. So freelancers, they pay for it all themselves. They have no employer paying half. So this is the case. In this case, he's got 70,000 euros. He's earning over the threshold. He's paying 1,260 euros towards the GKV, with nobody helping him. It works out to 1,260 euros a month, every month. No employer. That's a lot of money.
So over 1,000 euros just for one person.
Yes, Sean. Now, let's look at the PKV, what would happen there. If you had a basic tariff, he'd be paying, as I said, roughly around 400 euros, a mid-range tariff, maybe roughly around 500 euros, and a really, really premium tariff, maybe 600, 650 euros.
So the saving on the basic is what, 600 euros a month?
It's actually a little bit more. If we talk it's 400 euros, then he's saving 800 euros every month.
Okay, so over 10 years, we're talking like 70,000 euros or more with better cover in every dimension. It's not a trade-off, it's just better.
That's right, 70,000 or more, and definitely not a trade-off. It is just better for his case.
Fantastic. Okay, so scenario 3, I'm 40 years old, married, one child, partner not working, and he's earning around 90,000 euros per year.
Okay, different scenario. It needs thinking about again. But at 90,000 euros, again, we're over the cap. The GKVs cost him 630 euros. But the GKV at present has the so-called Familienversicherung, which is it's a family insurance, which means as long as the partner's not earning her own money, and the child isn't earning any money, then they're all covered under no extra cost under his 630 euros premium. PKV, slightly different. Every person needs their own policy. So the employee would need a policy, the partner would need a policy, and the kid would need a policy. But this is what a lot of people don't realize. Your employer still contributes towards the PKV, and he'll always contribute up to the maximum amount. So up to the 630 euros, he would contribute in the state insurance to the PKV for you and your family. So he doesn't just contribute for you, he contributes for your family as well. However, let's say your PKV is 900 euros a month. Employer pays 450, you pay 450. The full family might cost 1,300 euros. Your employer will pay 630 euros towards that, and you're left paying 670 euros to that. So you look at it and you think, financially, the GKV might have a slight edge, but there are a lot of hidden costs with the GKV, like 5 to 10 euros every time you go and get a medication. When you're in hospital, there's a 10 euro charge every night, and so on and so on and so on. So just because it seems slightly more cost effective to begin with doesn't actually mean that that's the case. The other thing you have to also look at a lifetime value. You start off PKV and you're paying less. And then you have a family, and for a short period of time, whilst your partner's at home, you might be paying more. And afterwards, when your partner goes back to work, you're paying less again. So if you look at the lifetime cost, to have that better coverage for you and your family, the PKV nearly always wins.
So the employer contribution follows you into PKV. That's something that nobody really explains.
Exactly. And the best time to switch was before having the family, as I've just explained. It really, really take as much of that saving as you can for as long as possible. The second best time is to do it now.
Absolutely. So the last one, the question that people are always afraid to ask. I'm 50. I've been in the GKV my whole life. Is it too late?
No, it's not too late. You have to look at it from a retirement point of view, whether you actually want to. But from a financial point of view, 50, it still makes perfect sense. 95,000 euros over the threshold, 630 euros a month. At 50, we can find you a good mid-range tariff, and you'll be paying 800 euros, 900 euros for a very good tariff. Right, your employer pays half of that, so effectively it's only costing you 450 euros. Compared to the 630 euros you're contributing to the state. If you're then clever, you'll join the PKV, you'll have the better cover, and you'll use your saving to make sure that you don't pay too much in retirement. So no, it's not too late, but you really do need to look at it carefully. What's your level of health? What tariff are you going to choose? And so on and so on and so on. So again, the best time to have done this was when you were 40. But if you're 50, then I suppose it's the second best time, because you can still look at it and make an individual decision whether it suits you from your health or whether it suits you financially.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up, there's one thing almost everybody misses. The GKV premiums also go up each year.
They do actually go up every year. And there's a couple of reasons for that in the last uh, couple of years. The Zusatzbeitrag, this amount which each provider is allowed to charge on top to make sure he can pay all his bills, has gone up really every year for the last few years. So 5 years ago, we were at 1.3%, and now we're already at an average cost of 2.9%. That's more than doubled in 5 years. The other thing is, if you earn over the threshold, so if you earn over the 69,750 euros, that threshold goes up year for year for year for year. Last year it was 66,000. This year it's 69,000. So that's 3,000 euros more you're paying over 10% on. It does make a big difference over time. I also have some big news on that. So the Gesundheitsreform, it's coming. Our coalition partners, the SPD, the CDU, the CSU, they've agreed on this. How are they going to make the GKV cost affordable in future? Or basically, that's not the right way of putting it. How are we going to put the GKV in the position that they can pay their bills? So we're going to have a few changes. We're going to have to pay more for medication. We're probably going to have less for dental. And the big thing is, and this is looking like it's going to come on the 1st of the 1st, 2028, for people who have children over 7 years old, we're going to get rid of the family insurance in the GKV, which means everybody will be paying 3.5% for their partner as well, which then makes the GKV super expensive compared to the PKV. So the coalition partners have agreed. It's meant to pass through Parliament this April. And if it does, that's going to be a massive change for everybody. And it will affect every single GKV insured person.
Okay, so if you have a family on GKV right now, this is something you really need to watch very closely. So let's make this simple based on everything that's been shown today. Single, under 40, qualify for PKV. In most cases, PKV can save you serious money. A freelancer at any age, run the numbers immediately. The GKV cost is brutal. A family with one income, GKV probably wins right now, but plan ahead.
Right, it's true. The Gesundheitsreform, which is coming, changes everything. So it's going to be passed this month. If it passes, it's time to have a look. It's time to redo the calculations, because even though the family insurance thing is only happening in the 1st of the 1st, 2028, because the PKV works on your earlier entry age, probably makes sense to log in that entry age as soon as possible, because then you will save for the rest of your life and you will save more.
And last but not least, over 50. Stay in the GKV unless your situation says otherwise. And in every single case, don't guess, get your personal numbers.
Okay, so what we've actually done, we've built a free analysis tool for exactly this reason. Your age, your income, employment type, family situation, a clear comparison using real tariffs that we use every day. And if you then put your numbers in, I think you'll be shocked in a lot of cases, the difference between what you would pay for a good PKV tariff to what you're paying to the GKV now. If that number or that difference is big, you should definitely contact us now and we will walk you through your options.
Again, the link for this is in the description and it is pinned as the first comment. So if this helps, please do subscribe to our channel. We are building a full series on navigating Germany. The next video will be 5 things your health insurance doesn't cover that you probably thought it does. Matthias, can you give us a quick preview of just one point?
I can. Let's think about dental implants. Dental implants are as good as not covered in the GKV, and they're very expensive. You have to make sure you choose the right plan. It can save you thousands.
Okay, so that's it from us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Matthias, and we'll see you next time.
Great, Sean. Thanks a lot. Really enjoyed it.